Rape and sexual harassment has been reported by foreign care workers across the UK. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that rape and sexual harassment has been reported by foreign care workers across the UK. Multiple cases of abuse and exploitation have been documented, but many staff feel powerless to complain for fear of losing their right to work in the country. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So I believe this is not the first time I've talked about this, and once again we have rape and sexual harassment being reported, and in a sector in the UK, and seems like it's kind of falling on deaf ears again. And that's how I feel about this. Just hearing this headline, not one, like the thing is, it's like this is things like this should be front page. They should be abhorrent, and everybody should be there should be an outrage of anger, just like of such a thing being reported. But it's not. It's like this story is like a back page of the Guardian sort of thing because of other stories taking place, and that's not an attack on the Guardian. That's just because of what gets more attention than the other stories. That's just generally what it is. That this is a serious one because we're talking about people who come to this country, who work part of our care force, that are allegedly being raped and sexually assaulted, and it's almost as if nobody's doing anything about it, and that people can't do anything about it because if they do, they could potentially lose their right to work and be deported. It really is a dangerous precedent that is being set here because it can. It's almost like you're being tied into slavery in a way, being trapped in this position as well because they are powerless here, which is exactly what it says here: powerless to complain. And so, what do you do when you're in this situation? Well, you start telling one or two. You could start telling one or two medias anonymously that these are happening. And I would say that these workers shouldn't need to fear for their safety, fear for their well-being, but that's what this is being reported as. And I understand that there are some people who don't like that our country is run by some things are run by foreign workers, even though that we have a lot of things run by foreign companies. Um, but we are struggling right now when it comes to workers in pretty much nearly all sectors. But we shouldn't look at foreign care workers as just as them foreign, because they are playing a really important role in looking after people looking after our people. They're taking their time away from from being with their family and friends from the country of their origin to come and work here, contribute to the United Kingdom, and look after our people. And I think that's really important. So their voices and their opinions should be something we should take very, very seriously here, guys. So a foreign care worker says she was repeatedly raped by her manager but felt unable to report into the police for fear of losing her right to work, in a case that exposed the way the UK's visa system for health and care workers leave people completely dependent on their employer. The case is more than 170 examples of abuse and exploitation reported by foreign care workers across the UK in an investigation by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, the TBIJ, and Citizens Advice. Others include a woman who was reported being sexually harassed by her landlord in accommodation arranged by her employer, who sponsored her work in the UK, and a live-in carer who was threatened with dismissal and their revocation of her visa when she complained about being made to work 20 hours a day. See, this kind of stuff. This is what you call abuse of power here. You know, this is what you call abuse. This is abuse of power. This is. A health and care worker visa is only granted once the applicant has a job offer from an approved UK employer also known as a sponsor. This places the employers in an incredible position of power, said Dora Olivia Vital, a chief executive of the Workers' Rights Centre, because the worker remains tied to their sponsor for the length of their visa. What the Home Office and labour enforcement agencies need to realise is that in the current conditions, people don't report exploration because they don't want it to backfire, Vidkal added. Government figures show almost 106,000 visas were granted to care workers in 2023, almost double the number was awarded in 2022. People from India, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Bangladesh and Pakistan top the list of those travelling to the UK to plug the labour shortfall created by Brexit. The care worker who approached Citizens Advice in 2023 to report that she has been raped several times by a manager and attended a rape crisis centre, but said she was too worried about losing her pay and visa to complain to the police. And that's it. You know, there's too many risk factors there for them. It's a horrible situation. Andrew Garwin, the Shadow Minister for Social Care, said the findings highlight how the government have failed in its promise to fix the crisis in social care. It is vital that we ensure that we have a system where the exploitation of overseas workers is not tolerated, and steps must be put in place to stop those who perpetrate abuse, the MP said. In early 2023, staff at Citizens Advice, a charity that provides confidential support from issues including debt and housing, noticed an increase in calls from people who were on the health and care worker visa. Concerned by the trend, Citizens Advice collected information recorded by its advisors to access the scale of the problem. In total, the charities gathered evidence from 150 workers, although the true number of people affected is probably far higher. The charities then shared anonymously information and the callers with the TBIJ as part of its investigation into exploitative and precarious working conditions faced by migrants in the UK. Separately, the TBIJ spoke to a further 22 care workers. These included Debbie, a live-in care worker who said she is expected to work 20 hours a day without break. 20 hours a day without break. The most I've ever worked in a day is 16 hours. And that was brutal. But we're 20 hours a day without a break? Not even like... That is abuse right there. I'm not sure how care companies in a first world country are capable of getting away with abuse, exploration, and simply put, a modern slave trade, she said. Care workers also describe working unpaid hours, paying up to £30,000 in illegal recruitment fees, being allocated fewer hours than promised, and being left destitute because of the working conditions experienced in the care sector. In another case, a Nigerian worker who complained about earning below the minimum wage was told they would have to work more than 300 miles for a different placement. 300 miles! The employer revoked their sponsorship when they refused. They are potentially thousands of people trapped in a system that leaves them vulnerable to abuse and threats, powerless to complain and often losing thousands of pounds. Kaylee Hindle, the interim director of policy at Citizens Advice, told The Guardian. These people are skilled professionals who keep our healthcare service running, yet are left without a safety net when things go wrong. Changes were made to the care worker visa in February 15, 2022, after a recommendation from the Migration Advisory Committee was accepted by the government to allow a wider umbrella of people to apply. Citizens Advice said that they began to notice cases of exploration in large numbers in July 2023. Our first step to fix this has to be design working visas in a way that doesn't bind someone to their employer, said Hingle. The government must also give workers better options for raising the alarm about poor treatment and ensure bad employees are held to account. So there needs to be there needs to be, obviously, you can't have them completely tied down to the employer. Now, there needs to be some kind of independent body, like a middle person between the government, the Home Office here, and for foreign workers here, as for someone who's kind of in between when a sponsor stops working and the reason, and that they who have someone they can go to directly when their sponsor stops working and what they can do, if they have an issue with their sponsorship being taken away from them and the reasons why. there needs to be something there that says that no, you can't take that sponsorship away on them based on X, Y, and Z or something. There needs to be some kind of accountability for the employer, who is the sponsor, who has this power. There needs to be some kind of accountability to them so that these kind of abuses don't happen. There needs to be some kind of body like that. The government must also give workers better options to raising alarm about poor treatment and ensure bad employees are held to account. A Home Office spokesperson told the TBIJ, "We strongly condemn offering health and care worker visa holder placements under false premises and will not tolerate illegal activity in the labour market. We are committed to stumping out exploitation of those working in the care sector and have announced providing them will only be able to sponsor migrant workers if they are undertaking activities regulated by the Care Quality Commission." Just also notes there that the names for the people in it have also been changed, guys, just for reference there. So some of the names that were used were not their actual names, just to protect their identity, understandably, guys. But what I will, our final thoughts to add to say on this is that it is absolutely right. They have way too much power, these employers, to literally hold them down pretty much. Yeah, when they are trapped in this, when they've given up so much to come and work here in the UK and to find themselves kind of stuck in this cycle of being forced to work more than they should be, to, as one allegedly saying, 20 hours a day with no break. Some being allegedly raped and sexual harassed because in a in a bind where if they don't do as they say, they're going to lose their visa and be basically kicked out of the country. This is blatant abuse of power here, and something needs to be done to ensure that those working as those as foreign, not just foreign care workers, but any department of that sort are protected from any kind of this kind of abuse. It shouldn't be happening at all. It really should not be happening at all. But apparently they are happening, and it needs to be amended. There needs to be a change and amendments in the law to ensure that they are looked after. You need to take that power away. You either take that power away from the employers, or you have a mechanism that they can go to in order for them able to challenge the employer who is threatening to take their visa away. Something along those lines, so that they have something they can fall back on, if they need to fall back on it, basically. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of these reports of rape and sexual harassment reported by foreign care workers? Do you think, that employers have too much power? Do you think it's too dangerous? Should there be a change in the law, or should there be some kind of middleman of an independent body that they can go to, if not as something to help them drop back on? What do you guys honestly think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.